Political science, modern political system, nature of the British Constitution, partly written and partly unwritten. The British Constitution is primarily based on a set of legal rules, customs, and conventions. One unique feature of the British Constitution is that it is flexible and can be easily modified. The principle of parliamentary sovereignty in the UK means Parliament is the supreme legal authority. Which of the following is not a source of British Constitution? Presidential decreases. The British Constitution follows the principle of fusion of powers. The British Constitution is often called dynamic constitution. Which document established the principle of constitutional monarchy in Britain? The Bill of Rights. The unwritten nature of the British Constitution allows for frequent changes through conventions and laws. The British Constitution does not provide for a formal written document. Customs and conventions. Unwritten traditions followed in governance. Which of the following is a well established convention in the UK? The Prime Minister must be the leader of the majority party in the House of Commons. The Convention of Collective Responsibility means cabinet ministers must act together and defend government policies. Conventions in the UK are non binding but widely followed. The Salisbury Convention states that the House of Lords cannot reject bills promised in the government's election manifesto. Which of the following is an example of a constitutional convention? The monarch appoints the Prime Minister. The Convention of Ministerial Responsibility requires ministers to resign if they lose public confidence. The principle that the monarch does not reject bills passed by Parliament is an example of constitutional convention. The convention that Parliament must be consulted before going to war was established after the Iraq War 2003. Why are conventions important in the British Constitution? They ensure flexibility in governance. Rule of law. The rule of law in the UK means everyone, including the government, is subject to the law. Who is associated with the concept of the rule of law? A.V. Dicey. One of the key principles of the rule of law is there must be equal justice for all. In the UK, the rule of law ensures that no one is punished without a fair trial. The principle that legal disputes should be settled by independent courts is known as judicial independence. The rule of law prevents arbitrary use of power. Which of the following is not a principle of rule of law? The Prime Minister is above the law. How does the rule of law protect democracy in the UK? It ensures fair and just legal process. What happens if a law contradicts the principles of the rule of law? It can be challenged in court. The rule of law ensures that government decisions are subject to legal review.